Have you ever had that moment? You meet someone, you open your mouth to say hello in English, and what comes out sounds, well, like you just memorized it from page 1 of a textbook? We're going to fix that. In this explainer, we are diving into how English speakers actually greet each other so you can sound natural, feel confident, and really connect.
Okay, listen first, then you say it.
Ready?
Good morning, how are you today?
Okay, now it's your turn. You got this.
Excellent. Now, what do you say back? Here's a really positive response.
Okay, here's the reply. Listen carefully. I'm doing great, thank you.
All right, your turn to say it. Okay, what if you see someone you already know? Here's what you can say.
It's this one. Try saying it with me. Nice to see you again.
Okay, and look, it's perfectly polite, it's grammatically correct, but there's a small problem. Because it's just so formal. In most day-to-day situations, chatting with friends, buying a coffee, greeting a colleague, it can sound a little bit robotic, almost like you're reading from a script. It puts up a little wall, you know? And our goal is to break down those walls. So, how do we do that? Okay, here's our game plan. We'll start by tackling those super formal greetings, just so you know when to use them. Then we'll get into the good stuff, the everyday casual greetings you'll hear all the time. We'll even sprinkle in some slang, point out a few common mistakes to avoid, and then wrap it all up with a simple toolkit of greetings you can always rely on.
All right, first things first, let's get the formal stuff out of the way. You might not use these every day, but knowing them is absolutely crucial for things like job interviews, formal events, or any time you really want to show respect.
So this phrase, how do you do, is probably one of the most confusing greetings out there. Here's the secret. It is not a real question. Nobody actually wants to know how you are doing. Think of it more like a password or a verbal handshake. It's a ritual. So when you hear it, your job is simple. You just say the exact same thing right back. It's like a call and response. Someone says, "How do you do?" And you very confidently reply, "How do you do?" That's it. If you want to mix it up, pleased to meet you also works perfectly. You're just completing that formal little dance. Okay, let's try it. I want you to repeat this after me. Try to get that polite, steady tone. Ready? How do you do? One more time. How do you do? Excellent. See? It's not so scary.
All right, we've handled the formal side. Now let's jump into the real world. These are the kinds of casual, friendly greetings you're going to hear and use pretty much constantly. This is how friends and colleagues really talk.
Now, pay close attention here, because this is a really key difference. When a greeting starts with how, like how's it going, it's asking about your general state, so you answer with words like good or not bad. But when it starts with what, like what's up, it's asking what you're doing, so the answer is about action or lack of action, not much or nothing. It's a small difference, but it's a big deal.
You know what time it is? Let's practice these. Get that natural, casual rhythm down. First up, repeat after me. How's it going? Good. Now for the other one. What's up? Awesome. Honestly, just with those two, you're pretty much set for most informal chats.
Okay, you've got the basics down cold. Now, if you really want to kick it up a notch and add a little local flavor, you can start weaving in some slang and some friendly terms. This is how you go from sounding good to sounding totally natural.
Okay, this is the fun stuff. In a lot of England, just saying all right is the entire greeting. And the answer? You just say all right back. In Ireland, you'll hear what's the crack, which basically just means what's new or what's the fun. And then you've got these little add-ons, right? Mate is huge in the UK and Australia, while man or dude is super common in the US. Tacking one of these onto a greeting makes you sound instantly more friendly.
Let's try putting one of these together. This is something you'll hear constantly in Britain. Just repeat after me. All right, mate. Hear how casual that is? Let's do it again, make it sound really friendly. All right, mate.
Okay, so we've learned a lot of great things to say. Now let's talk about what not to do. Avoiding these couple of common trip-ups will make your conversations so much smoother. Listen up, because this one is huge. Nice to meet you has one job and one job only, for the absolute first time you meet a person. That's it. Every single time after that, you switch to nice to see you. If you say nice to meet you again, it kind of implies that you forgot you ever met them, which can be, well, pretty awkward. So, how can you tell if someone's how are you is just a passing hello or if they genuinely want to know? It's all about the delivery. A quick greeting is usually fast, the tone goes up at the end, and the person might still be walking past you. A real question is different. It's slower, the tone is more sincere, and they'll probably stop, make eye contact, and actually wait for your answer.
Reading those signals is everything.
And now for a simple but super important rule about the time of day. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening are all ways to say hello, but good night is never a hello. It only means goodbye. You say it when you're leaving a place for the night or right before you go to sleep. That's a big one to remember.
Phew! We have covered a ton of ground. So let's pull all of this together into a simple, easy-to-use toolkit. A few go-to phrases that will work in pretty much any situation so you never have to feel stuck.
And here is the golden rule, the most important piece of advice I can give you. If you are ever unsure what to say, just choose the simple, polite option. It is always better to be a little too formal than way too casual. Politeness is never wrong.
So what about your replies? These are your safe bets. I'm great, thanks, is positive and friendly. I'm all right, how about you, is perfect. And yes, even our old friend, I'm fine, thank you, works beautifully in a slightly more formal setting. And when someone says, nice to meet you, a simple, you too is perfect. Or if you want to be a tiny bit fancier, likewise is a great choice.
At the end of the day, please remember this. The whole point of learning a language isn't to be perfect. It's not about never making a mistake. The goal is connection. It's about talking to people. So don't let the fear of getting it wrong stop you from saying hello.
And I'll leave you with a question to think about. What's a common, everyday greeting in your native language? The kind you say without even thinking. Sometimes understanding how it works for you can unlock how it works for everyone else. Thanks so much for joining me today.